Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Tony and this is Intelligent Automation Simplified. API versus RPA. The age-old rivalry which will easily be mistaken by my order at the local pub. Unlike India Pale Ale, application programming interface allows data to seamlessly pass between different applications. Some believe that APIs will eventually replace RPA entirely, though others say that RPA is a faster alternative to APIs with a considerably lower price tag, and obviously it can make decisions. API has been around forever. Web-based APIs go far back as the 90s, much older than RPA, so clearly there's a need for both. Though there is a great deal of overlap, there's value in both tools, which can and do work very well together. But check out my videos to learn about the differences, like RPA versus API, the pros and cons, and how RPA and API can work together. But before we even get to those videos where we compare the two, today I want to give you 6 things that you need to know about APIs. In this video, we're going to take a look at APIs, how they work, the different types of APIs, and how REST APIs, the most common, and how something called REST API is used, the tools that you can leverage to manage your API. And then we'll take a look at how RPA can actually use APIs in automated workflows. So APIs allow you to access third-party applications and websites. It's that interface for different software and applications to communicate to each other, similarly to when you go to Google and request a homepage from the Google service. It's a way to exchange data and make commands like get to retrieve data and post to edit data. And you'll see online the common analogies of a waiter going between the customer and the kitchen. The waiter is the API, and then similarly the receptionist who connects the caller to her friend. APIs gives a lot of benefits like security, enhanced capabilities by reusing data in different ways, and it really simplifies development of applications because there's no need to learn different programming languages and architectures of websites to be able to integrate effectively. You just need to get the data that you need. It just allows you to access and manipulate the data that you need. How it works is your application would make an API call and then receive a response from the server. The most common structure is JSON, which stands for JavaScript Object Notation. This is not a programming language. You could probably say it's language agnostic, but it's a text format. It's a key value pair. So you have the key and then you have the value. That's how you interact and retrieve data from that JSON file. And there are 3 formats. There's SOUP, REST, and RPC, but the most common are SOUP and REST. You can break down APIs into different groups. The common APIs are public, which are open, so anyone can go in and plug into the API and retrieve the information that they need. Similarly to Twitter, if you wanted to go onto the Twitter API, they have APIs which are open up to the public. Then you've got partner APIs, and this is when a business allows specific people, specific third parties to access their APIs to allow business applications to easily integrate with their applications. But obviously they don't want everyone to access their data, so this is tied down to just partners. And then the third level is private APIs, and this is only for internal users like employees. And it's possible to have APIs which are mixtures of the 3. But there are 2 main types of APIs that you will actually see online. There's SOAP APIs and REST APIs. These are the most common APIs that you will read about online. So SOAP API stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. And this is how the web services communicate. It's very predictable and it's best for actions, and it provides advanced security. It's also often seen as too rigid for app developers. So this is where REST APIs comes in, or RESTful, which is the REST web service. And this stands for Representational State Transfer. REST APIs are by far the most popular, and they're really good for transferring data. It's easy to scale, it's high performance, and it's really simple. So most web apps and sites use this form of communication to share information. So the 4 things that you need is the endpoint, where you're going to make the API call to. There's sending the request, either to post, get, put, or delete the specific information that you want from that JSON file. And then there's receiving the response from the server. If you're getting value from this video, just hit that like button up and remember to subscribe for to get any new video that I release. So there are loads of tools out there that you can leverage right now. A lot of them are free for you to start managing and building APIs. POSTMAN is probably the most popular. It's free. You can go onto the website right now and you can start testing HTTP APIs. POSTMAN also allows you to build and test APIs and store and manage your APIs into folders for you to use later on. But what I like POSTMAN is it makes it very easy for you to structure specific requests. You can put in the endpoint's URL, specify the different parameters. Using the API documentation, you can work out exactly what parameters you can put in there, and you can select the type of request that you want to make. And then it gives you, in the box below, it gives you the results of your request. So as you can see here, we can add multiple parameters, and you can see by the ampersand sign when it's joining the parameters and adding that onto the URL. And we can actually save this into a repository for us to make the call later on. And you can just save into collections here. So as you can see, we can make a call on the API. We can do a GET request. So we select GET here. We'll type in the endpoint. And then at the bottom here, you've got the params which stand for parameters. And then you add in the key using the documentation from your API documentation, cap sensitive. And then you put the value in here, and then you can add different parameters on here as well. Okay, and then you press send. And then at the bottom here, you can see the results. And then if you wanted to post to an API, there are obviously authorization in order to post to an API. So you need what's called the API key to put into here so that you can show you have authority. The most common is called OAuth. That's been posted successfully. And there's loads more tools out there like MULESOFT, which is a subsidiary of Salesforce, which is really good at managing your API application network. If you're working in a large company, MULESOFT helps you to manage all the APIs from all the applications that you have. You're going to have multiple apps in your company, like APIs for Microsoft, SAP, Salesforce, Workday. MULESOFT brings that all together, and you can actually group those APIs from different apps because you have these different connectors. You can group all the apps that you use for a different process, and then you have what's called process APIs. So instead of interacting directly with the app API, you can group those APIs together for specific processes. And then further, you can group those processes into what's called experiences. So different processes for an employee or a manager or a customer. These things are grouped together. The different processes that an employee or customer would be involved in, those APIs are grouped into what's called experiences APIs, allowing you to very easily integrate and pull the direct information you need without having to interact directly with the lower level APIs from each of those applications. So this allows you to manage your APIs and create APIs and deploy them in a much easier way if you have a lot of applications to deal with. And there's other things, API Manager, there's Apigee, there's a whole range of API management software out there that you can start leveraging to get the most out of the APIs that are available to you. The one question you're thinking right now is, okay, so how can RPA use these APIs? So RPA gets data from the user interface and makes decisions on what to do with it. And APIs can get and post data in a more robust way. With RPA, if you're a developer or you've released automation processes before, you'll be aware of how fragile API robots can actually be when built on applications and websites where the user interface changes. Even if it doesn't change that much, if it's a third-party application that you're using, you're at risk. You're at the mercy of that third-party provider to make a change at a moment's notice without you even knowing until something goes wrong. But having an API-first approach is a much more robust approach to getting the data you need in a robust way, because the data in the backend doesn't change as frequently as user interfaces change, as web pages and applications change as they go through upgrades. So by getting the data directly through an API means that your robots are a lot more robust, and therefore that reduces the support costs and maintenance time that will be required to keep changing them as the underlying applications are changing as well. And the RPA vendors have made this really simple. So UiPath has something called Web Activities, and Blue Prism has their Web API services, which makes it really easy for you to make these HTTP API calls. As before, you add in the endpoint URL, you select the parameters that you require, and you can do all of this in RPA Studio. So no matter if you're using UiPath, Blue Prism, or another RPA vendor, make sure that they have the capability for you to use APIs in their system, because going forward, this is going to become more and more frequent as you deliver more RPA projects. So I hope that gave you a nice introduction to the APIs in simple terms and how to use REST APIs, which is going to become very common as you go on to deliver more RPA projects. We've taken a look at a few of the tools that are out there for you to manage APIs, which I'll put those links in the description below, that you can take a look at to manage all the different APIs that you'll be using on a frequent basis. And we took a look at how easy RPA vendors are making for you to use APIs in your automated projects and workflows, and the benefits and the substantial benefits that it can give to you, to your team and your business. So I'm going to be releasing more RPA versus API videos, because this is going to become a very popular topic as we go on in 2022. So make sure you subscribe and you get notified weekly on these new topics. All right, you take care. Speak to you soon. Bye.